Tiffany really does not understand how quotes work. If you're not repeating someone's exact words, word for word, that's not a quote. That's not interpretation either. That's straight-up fabrication. But here she is, tossing out made-up statements and stamping them as facts. And since we're already talking about things not working, can we please discuss her wig situation at that board meeting? Because listen, I wasn't going to bring it up at first, but after rewatching that footage a few times, I realized what was bugging me. That wig wasn't sliding. It wasn't shifting. It was retreating, like it was drafted for war and sent to the front lines. Every time I replay the clip, I don't even process her words anymore. I'm just locked in on that disappearing hairline, watching it wave the white flag. Honestly, this whole saga could be titled, The Dictator and the Disappearing Edges. But all right, let's put the comedy aside and focus on the actual train wreck, the board meeting itself. One community speaker stood up and said if anyone needed help, they could call Keith Freeman directly, since apparently he's now working as Dolton's unofficial 24/7 customer service rep. Then Tiffany tried to swoop in with a passionate speech. She argued employees shouldn't go unpaid just because board members didn't get their documents on time. Then she drops this strange line, "You must pay to stop." Excuse me? What does that even mean? A riddle? A prophecy? Nobody knew. But we got the point. She was saying workers shouldn't get caught in her crossfire with the trustees. And sure, that's fine as an argument. But Tiffany, of course, try to treat it like a mic drop moment. No room for pushback. No room for questions. Just vibes and declarations. The problem is, trustees weren't having it. One of them fired back, reminding the room that the board had already passed ordinances requiring all hiring and firing decisions to go through them. And clearly, that wasn't happening. They pointed out how staff and trustees were being sent official documents on weekends, with no heads up, which is the opposite of how real government functions. Government is supposed to run during office hours, not while people are at Sunday brunch. One trustee even said they had to track Keith Freeman down on a Sunday just to get paperwork they should have had days earlier. That's not efficiency. That's dysfunction dressed as hustle. Then came a moment that had me paused. Did y'all notice the man sitting next to Tiffany? The way he was looking at her? Phew. Full-on crush mode. Middle school. Please notice me. Senpai type of energy. He was gazing at her like she was his escape plan, giving her those long, dreamy stares like he was already planning their honeymoon. I don't know his marital status, and honestly, I don't care, but the vibe was undeniable. This man looked like one flirty text away from trying to slide into her DMs during the meeting. It was giving forbidden romance fanfiction, and I couldn't unsee it. Back to the meeting. Another trustee stood their ground. They made it crystal clear this wasn't about punishing employees. It was about building a system that works. They stress that their responsibility is to protect taxpayer money, make informed decisions, and avoid disaster. Because if things keep going off the rails, it's not Tiffany who gets blamed. It's the trustees. Approving payments, hires, and contracts without reviewing documents? That's a recipe for collapse. Another trustee agreed, saying all of this chaos wouldn't exist if Tiffany's administration just followed deadlines and processes. Yes, staff members are dedicated and working overtime, but that's not sustainable. Real government doesn't rely on round-the-clock hustle. It relies on structure, planning, and accountability. But of course, Tiffany couldn't let that stand. She jumped back in with her usual theatrics, claiming the trustees could have just called her or the administrator on Friday. She bragged about working around the clock. Say her phone is always on, that she and Keith Freeman are in constant communication. Like, girl, that's not the flex you think it is. Just because you're texting this man at 11 p.m. doesn't mean the village is being run properly. And now I'm sitting here like, does Kamal know about this 24/7 connection? Because phew, that's looking a little too close for comfort. I'll just let that tea steep. And honestly, for someone who preaches ethics and transparency, Tiffany spends an eyebrow-raising amount of time tied up with Keith Freeman. I'm not saying she can't have close friends, but let's stop pretending Kamal's the only one with drama. Because here's the truth. Tiffany is a side chick. Yep, I said it. And the sad part? She might not even realize it. Or maybe she does and just doesn't care. She even went on the radio and claimed Kamal's been trying to get divorced for 4 years. 4 whole years. Sis, if a man says he's been trying to leave his wife for 4 years and hasn't, that's not dedication, that's comedy. If you've been trying to do anything for 4 years and failed, it's because you never really wanted it. Poor little Tink Tink, forever chasing a wind she can't secure. Why Tiffany chooses to stay caught up in that mess, I'll never understand. She could easily stand on her own, build credibility, and actually make change. But instead, she clings to a man who couldn't lead a GPS to the nearest exit. She thinks she's hit the jackpot, when really, she is the jackpot. He's chasing the bag, and she is the bag. Tragic. Now, let's talk about her latest rant. She went on this whole tirade claiming the trustees don't do enough. She said they don't attend committee meetings, don't ask enough questions, and don't check the village platform. Then she kept yelling, "It's all on the app," as if that magically explains everything. Ma'am, if the app fixed anything, we wouldn't still be here talking, and of course she ended with her go-to-move. Just reach out if you need help. She handed out her personal number again, like she's running a one-woman call center from her living room. But let's be real, that's not transparency. That's not accountability. That's stalling, distracting, spinning the narrative. Tiffany doesn't answer questions, she dodges them. And that's why every board meeting feels less like government and more like reality TV. Chaos with a soundtrack. She pivots to the land bank like she's exposing some grand conspiracy, waving around this random sheet of paper like it's the Declaration of Independence. Claims it has all the answers about her Buy Black housing program, the free homes, the $5,000 homes. But guess what? She never actually shares it. Just flashes it like a golden scroll from heaven, then tucks it away like it never existed. That's Tiffany transparency for you. Trust me, I'm the mayor, and if you dare question her, suddenly it's respect my authority. Straight up dictator energy. She even accused the board of misquoting someone during a vote, swearing the woman never said what they claimed. But instead of clearing the record, she flipped it to justify her own housing program. She now tells people to hire private inspectors instead of trusting village ones, after she used her own people to greenlight unsafe properties. The $5,000 homes are no better. Buyers have to live there for 5 years, finish repairs within 90 days, and pass 2 inspections. But Tiffany controls the permits, and she's notorious for stalling them. That means the clock runs out, you fail the program, and she seizes your property. That's not economic development. That's monopoly with cheat codes. At the end of the day, all of this, the housing, the paperwork games, the late-night texts, comes back to one thing: control. Tiffany wants the credit when it works, none of the blame when it fails, and her name stamped on every single dollar. Dictator energy, plain and simple. And finally, let's circle back to the visuals, because that hairline, baby, it's so far back it needs TSA clearance. It's giving front row seat to your thoughts. Drop your votes. Are y'all rocking with this no forehead left behind campaign? Or should she bring it down to Eddie Winslow levels, right above the brows? If you got that reference, we're officially friends. Anyway, behave yourselves, because I won't. And remember, Mama loves you. Yes, she does. Peace.